Hello, it's Grandma again. Are you ready for Grandma's story time? I've got my story bag here. It's my bag with purple circles and golden elephants and blue circles with golden elephants and red circles. And you know who lives inside. Come out, Peter. You round the right way? Come on out. There he is. He said he's very excited. Peter and Mollie and Chinky are going for another ride, another adventure. Let's get out the book. Here we are. The wishing chair again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're up to chapter 8. We are. Okay. Time for Peter to go into bed. Back into the bag. Bye-bye. Put on your glasses, Grandma. It's time to read The Wishing Chair again. Chapter 8 is called The Slipperies Play a Trick. Peter and Mollie looked hard at the 5 slipperies. Each slippery had one blue eye and one green, and not one of them looked straight at the children. Their hair was slick and smooth, and their mouths smiled without stopping, and they rubbed their bony hands together all the time. "I'm sorry," said Peter, "but we don't want to leave our chair. We're waiting here till our little friend Chinky comes back from seeing his great aunt Quickfingers."
"Oh, she's gone to market,"
said one of the slipperies.
"She always goes on Thursdays."
"Oh dear," said Peter, "how tiresome. Now we shan't be able to get a 4th wing for our wishing chair."
"Dear me, is this a wishing chair?"
said the slipperies in great interest.
"It's the first time we've seen one. Oh, do let us sit in it."
"Certainly not," said Peter, certain that if he let them sit in it, they'd fly off in it. "I hear that great aunt Quickfingers has some flying dogs," said Mollie, hoping that the slipperies would look frightened at the mention of them. But they didn't. They rubbed their slippery hands together again and went on smiling.
"Ah, yes, wonderful dogs they are. If you stand on your chair and look over the field yonder, you may see some of them flying around,"
said one slippery. The children stood on the seat of the chair, and the slipperies clustered round them.
"Now look right down over the field,"
began one of them.
"Do you see a tall tree?"
"Yes," said Mollie.
"Well, look to the right of it, and you'll see the roof of a house. And then to the right of that, and you'll see another tree,"
said the slippery. "Can't you tell me exactly where to look?" said Mollie, getting impatient. "I can't see a single flying dog, only a rook or 2.
"Well, now look to the left,"
began another slippery, when Peter jumped down from the chair. "You're just making it up," he said. "Go on, be off with you. I don't like any of you." The slipperies lost their smiles and looked nasty. They laid their hands on the wishing chair. "I shall whistle for the flying dogs," said Peter suddenly. "Now let me see, what's the whistle? Yes." And he suddenly whistled, a very shrill whistle indeed. The slipperies shot off at once, as if 100 of the flying dogs were after them. Mollie laughed. "Peter, that's not really a whistle for flying dogs, is it?" "No, of course not. But I had to get rid of them somehow," said Peter. I had a feeling they were going to trick us with their silly smiles and rubbing hands and odd eyes, so I had to think of some way of tricking them instead. I wish Chinky would come, said Molly, sitting down in the chair again. He's been ages, and it's all a waste of time. He's going to find his great aunt, if she's at the market. We shall have to go there, I expect, and carry the chair all the way. Why, there is Chinky, said Peter, waving. Oh, good, he's dancing and smiling. He's got the spell to make another wind grow. Then his great aunt couldn't have gone to market, said Molly. Hey, Chinky, have you got the spell? Was your great aunt Quick Fingers in?
Yes, and awfully pleased to see me,
said Chinky, running up.
And she gave me just enough magic to make another wing grow, so we shan't be long now.
5 Slipperies came up. They said your great aunt always goes to market on Thursdays, said Molly.
You can't believe a word they say,
said Chinky.
I told you that. My word, I'm glad they didn't trick you in any way. They usually trick everyone, no matter how clever they can be.
Well, they didn't trick us, said Peter. We're much too smart for them, weren't we, Molly? Yes, they wanted to sit in the chair when they knew it was a wishing chair, said Molly, but we wouldn't let them.
I should think not,
said Chinky. He showed the children a little blue box.
Look, I've got a smear of ointment in here that's just enough to grow a red wing to match the others, and then the chair will be quite all right.
Well, let's rub it on, said Peter. Chinky knelt down by the chair, and then he gave a cry of horror. What's the matter? Said the children.
Look! Someone has cut the other 3 wings off the chair,
groaned Chinky.
Cut them right off short. There's only a stump left of each.
Peter and Molly stared in horror. Sure enough, the other 3 wings had been cut right off. But how? And when? Who could have done it? The children had been in that chair all the time.
I do think you should have kept better guard on the chair,
said Chinky.
I really do. Didn't I warn you of the way of the Slipperies? Didn't I say you couldn't trust them? Didn't I?
Oh, Chinky, but when could it have been done? Said Molly. I tell you, we were both here the whole time.
Standing by the chair?
Said Chinky. Yes, or on it, said Peter.
On it? Whatever did you stand on it for?
Said Chinky.
To stop the Slippery sitting down?
No, to see your great aunt's flying dogs, said Peter. The Slippery said they were over there, and if we could stand up on the seat, we could see them flying around. But we couldn't.
Of course you couldn't,
said Chinky.
And for a very good reason too. They're all at the cottage with my great aunt. I saw them.
Oh, dreadful storytellers, cried Molly. Peter, it was a trick. While we were standing up there trying to see the dogs, one of the Slipperies must have quietly snipped off the 3 wings and put them in his pocket.
Of course,
said Chinky.
Very simple. And you're a pair of simpletons to get taken in by such a silly trick.
Peter and Molly went very red. What shall we do? Asked Peter. I'm very sorry about it. Poor old chair. 1 wing not grown and the other 3 snipped off. It's a shame. Thank goodness Chinky has the growing ointment for wings, said Molly.
Yes, but I've only got enough for 1 wing,
said Chinky.
1 wing isn't going to take us very far, is it?
No, said Molly. Whatever are we going to do? I shall have to ask Great Aunt Quickfingers for some more growing ointment, that's all, said Chinky gloomily.
And this time you can come with me, and the wishing chair too. If I leave you here alone with it, you'll get tricked again, and I shall come back and find the legs are gone the next time. And I can't even grow wings on them.
It's not very nice of you to keep going on and on about it, said Molly, lifting up the chair with Peter. We're very sorry, and we didn't quite know how clever the Slipperies were. Oh, horrid creatures, with their odd eyes and deceitful smiles. They followed Chinky down the road and along a lane. Soon he came to his great aunt's cottage. It was very snug and small. To Molly's enormous delight, 6 brown dogs, rather like spaniels, were flying about the garden on small white wings. They barked loudly and flew to the 3 of them. Now, these are friends of mine, said Chinky, and patted the nearest dog, which was flying around his head. It was strange to have the little dogs sailing about the air like gulls. One flew up to Molly and rested its front paws on her shoulder. She laughed, and the little dog licked her face. And then it flew off again and chased a sparrow, barking madly. Great Aunt Quickfingers came to the door, looking surprised.
Why, Chinky, come back so soon,
she said.
What happened? Chinky told her. So you see, Great Aunt, now the poor chair has lost all its wings. I'm afraid that the growing ointment you gave me won't be enough,
said Chinky.
I'm so sorry. Well, it takes a very clever person to see through the slippery ways,
said his great aunt.
You'd better come in and have tea now that you're all here.
The children put down the wishing chair, and Great Aunt Quickfingers got the little treacle tarts out of the oven.
There you are,
she said.
Get your little fingers nice and sticky with those. I'll go and make some more growing ointment for you. It won't take long.
She disappeared, and the children sat and munched the lovely treacle tarts. Just at the moment that she came back with a fairly large jar. She handed it to Chinky.
There you are. Use that and see what happens. But remember, you can only use the ointment once on anything. The spell doesn't act twice. It's no good trying to use the ointment another time on the chair to make it grow wings, because it won't be any use.
Chinky dipped his finger into the jar of ointment. It was curious stuff, bright yellow with green streaks in it. He rubbed some onto the chair leg, and immediately the most wonderful wings sprouted out, big and strong. I say, it isn't red as it always is, cried Molly. It's green and yellow, and a much bigger wing than before. I say, you do look grand, chair. Make another wing come, Chinky. Soon the wishing chair had 4 grand green and yellow wings, much bigger than its old red ones. It waved them about proudly.
You'd better get in the chair and go before it tries its new wings out all by itself, said Great Aunt Quickfingers. So in they all got, Chinky on the back as usual, and off they went. Home, chair, home!
Cried everyone. And it rose high in the air and flew off to the west.
Goodbye, and thank you very much,
cried Chinky and the children, and Great Aunt waved till they were out of sight. Well, that was a nice little adventure, said Peter, and the chair's got some wonderful new wings. I do hope they grow fast in the future, big and strong, all green and yellow. And there they go, flying. Do you like those new green and yellow wings? And that's the end. It was a quick adventure, wasn't it? I'm glad those Slipperies didn't trick them into taking the chair. Come back tomorrow and we'll see if the wings can grow quickly again. Bye-bye.